Ladies and gentlemen,
listening to the Kennedy Cemetery Services and Monument Sale South Lenoir Basketball Preview Girls Basketball with Michael Dwayne Humphrey. Here's Hump.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. And you're listening to Nelly. That's Shake Your Tail Feather. And I don't know why we chose that one, but we'll take it. Here we go. That's Nelly. I like Nelly okay. He's pretty good. And
well, Basketball Hump used to be part owner of the Bobcats with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but he's from Missouri. I think he was born in Texas, and he's from Missouri. But okay, we'll take it. That's fine. He's all right. Well, anyway, you're listening to the. Thank you again for joining me. By the way, this is Michael Dwayne Humphrey of Hump's Heroes. You're listening to the Kennedy Cemetery Services and Monument Sales South Lenoir Basketball Preview, and today we are talking girls basketball. I found out sometime late in October, early October, of the new coach for South Lenoir the Lady Blue Devils was hired, and actually it's a good friend of mine. It's somebody I know from where I went to school with, and knows basketball very well. He's a very good coach, a great hire by the staff. His name is Joseph Mentz, and you might be familiar with Mentz. His son Tanner, him and Julie had a son named Tanner Mentz, who played basketball for South Lenoir and graduated 2 years ago. Played with R.J. Brock and those guys, Christian Couples and them. So anyway, so I had a chance to talk to Joe yesterday. I had one interview with him on the phone, and it didn't go through. But I have met up with him yesterday at Kinston High School Lady Vikings. Their jamboree, and he and I talked for about 30 minutes. And here's Joe. We talked about the team, and he talked about how young they're going to be. Coach Mentz talked about how when he initially found out that he was going to be offered the job, he got a call from assistant coach Rodney Brock of the boys team, and Coach Brock was just filling him out, asked him if he thought he might be interested in taking the head coaching job for the girls.
Yeah, he gave me a phone call and said, "Hey man, just want to know if you'd be interested in coaching the ladies basketball." And I said, "Sure. I mean, I would love to." And next thing I know, I get contacted by Miss Pierce, and there it went. Coach
Mentz had been coaching the pro elite travel ball team for several years with a lot of success, won several medals, and coached R.J. Brock, former South Lenoir player, coached Kamarian Graham, and current South Lenoir point guard Gavin Brock, as well as his son Tanner. And once Tanner graduated from South Lenoir, Coach Mentz kind of took a break, but then he got the itch again to coach.
Yeah, I took a couple years off after my son graduated. Gave myself a little time to recuperate because, as you know, with travel ball, man, we played every weekend, and we played anywhere from 5 to 7 games every weekend. So it kind of gave me a little break, and yeah, I was chomping at the bits to be back coaching.
You can ask all high school coaches or anybody who's ever coached travel basketball, and they'll tell you it is a very time-consuming job. And he spent a lot of time and won many, many games with those teams. And so coaching the South Lenoir basketball girls team is kind of like a little vacation for him. It's kind of it's not as much time as it would be when he was coaching travel ball.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, it's going to be like a little vacation type thing, but it's not, because starting from fresh, because this year is a very young group of girls coming back with South Lenoir. A lot of the stars that was there last year are not going to be here this year because they decided that one, she had a shoulder injury, had to have an operation, so she's not playing this year. And a couple others decided they wasn't going to play. So we have a very young team.
Coach Mentz is referring to senior Mackenzie Herring, who injured her shoulder last year and had surgery and tried to come back in volleyball. And she did play at a high level in volleyball, but she wants to rest her shoulder for a softball season. And she was the leading scorer, averaging 7.9 points a game. And a couple of other players who want to concentrate on softball as well, Lily Cole, are not returning. But he does have a few stable pieces that he's excited about, and a freshman coming in. But he does emphasize it's going to be a learning curve and a rebuilding year for the 2-21 Blue Devils.
This year is really what I call a building year, to get these girls focused on what basketball's about, and the fundamental, and not really focus on the other groups. You know, if we win, that's going to be great. If we lose, it is what it is. But my focus is to build this team for the future. You know, like I said, I've got a young team, a bunch of sophomores, freshmen, and a couple juniors. So it's going to be a young team.
Since Coach Mentz was hired a few weeks ago, he has held some workouts at Moss Hill Gym, and he's getting ready from Monday, which is tomorrow, the official first day of practice, and he's just going to rotate between both gyms, South Lenoir and Moss Hill, because Coach Wade will also have the varsity coaching there.
Yeah, since I was hired as the head coach, it's been about a month now. We've been having practices every 2 days a week, and I've had anywhere from 9 to 10, 12 girls at every workout.
Second season in a row, South Lenoir will not field a JV girls team. They're trying to get as many players available for the varsity as possible. He should have about 12 or 13 players make the team. He will rotate. His rotation is going to be about 8 or 9 deep. And in his mind, he's pretty sure who he's going to have in the lineup. However, there may be a surprise or two that show up for workouts and tryouts on Monday.
I'll probably run a strong 8, but I'll have 13 on the roster. You're going to lose a couple here and there. Mm-hmm. So it's one of them situations we want to make sure we got enough to cover everything.
Coach Mentz has coached girls before, softball and basketball, but this is going to be new to him. His coaching style is sort of in your face. He's a player's coach in a way, but he wants to teach the game, and he's very emphatic about doing the fundamentals, doing what's right. So it's a learning curve for him in how he speaks to these girls compared to how he spoke to his players who were boys.
It's a little different coaching style than they're used to. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm really anxious about it.
Coach Mentz raves about the group he has. They've accepted him, and he's accepted them, and he's excited about the opportunity to coach these girls even further and see how much they'll improve under his leadership.
You know, I want to push them past. I want to push them to where I don't want them breaking, but I want them to be pushed to the point where they understand that every time we push them, it's to make them better.
Right.
I've got some girls that's got talent that's just raw, and it's going to take time to develop that rawness. But I've got a core 8 that I know that 5 of them played last year for South Lenoir, and 2 of them played for Woodington that came in. Mm-hmm. So the freshmen and those sophomores and juniors, I'll have for another couple, 2-3 years.
Right.
That's the ones I'm really going, I want to develop.
Coach Mentz can coach. He's been successful everywhere he's coached. But you always have to have someone in the background to help you, someone with experience. And he has hired some experienced coaches to help him along the way.
Good coaches with me. I got Coach Alexis coming back. She's really gun-ho about this season. Coach Marietta, she's still there. Mm-hmm. And Coach Thurman, he's still part of the team. And, and like I told them, with me, they're part of the team. They have just as much input as I have.
Right.
But and they have showed that so far.
May have been too early to ask Coach this, but to find out, so his opponents don't find out how he plays, his style. But I asked him what kind of style of play he plays defensively and then offensively.
Depending on the who we're playing.
Okay.
If I see a team that is not strong on ball handling, then I'll push man, because I have some very quick girls. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to develop them into a man-to-man strong defense.
And offensively, Coach?
We're going to run a couple plays, simple but effective plays, and I want to see how they handle that. And once I see that, and then I'll start, as you see the season go, you'll start seeing more pushing. Mm-hmm. But first couple, 2-3 games, I'm going to tell you, we're going to kind of just play it safe, see how they react to it, and go from there.
That was Coach Joe Mentz, the newly named head coach of the South Lenoir Lady Blue Devils varsity basketball team. I think he's going to do a great job. I've known his wife Julie for a long time. I've known Joe pretty well. I've got to know him a lot better. But he's coached some really good players who have gone on to do some good things, and he's a very good coach. And a lot of these players love him. He's gonna make them better. So look for them to improve on that 2-21 season from last year. That was a tough season, I know, for Coach Harris, and he's probably glad he's not doing it. But 0-13 in conference. They do have Kinston, one of the first few games in Jones Senior, so they got some tough games coming up. So we'll see how he does. And that is part 2 of the Kennedy Cemetery Services and Monument Sales South Lenoir High School basketball preview 2025-26, and I appreciate y'all joining me. Coming up, again, still more to come. We got Gavin Brock, we got Coach Jimmy Smith, and we have a little extra, Brett McLaurin. See ya!